This is a format I like to call extraction. Today we're going to extract the wisdom from a bridge and a couple other objects as well. Would you want to be a bridge? A bridge is something that connects two different places. It makes a path of travel easier. It's there's some upfront energy to put up this bridge, but it's there for the rest of the time. So it's a very high cost, but very long-term reward. And as well, it connects various areas, different, like they say creativity is the intersection between two unrelated areas, right? So if you bring together two different industries and you find some overlap, that's creativity. That's one form of it, right? So a bridge in one way is creative because it allows for a transfer of information, a transfer of cultures or of whatever it is between two separate places, right? I think of bridges are also beautiful. It's a structure it's an enduring structure that's there. It's an arch. It's a mathematical piece of beauty, right? A bridge is not just a road. Which a road is a whole nother concept we can talk about. Maybe we'll talk about it today. But I think if you want to be a bridge in your life, you have to be able to connect different types of people. So a connector is a bridge, right? They're bringing together different groups of people. A connector or a bridge in life is someone who sets up a relationship or a job or like a software or whatever it is, something that makes other people's lives easier for the rest of time on a consistent basis. A bridge is someone who builds bridges is someone who makes a lasting impact off of one action up front, right? So, you could argue that like a home builder is a bridge because you build the house and then people live in it for the 80 years, right? And like maybe that's a little bit too philosophical, but be a bridge in your life because you want to connect different types of people. You want to always be there. You want to put in that upfront energy and be able for people to benefit from that on a long-term basis, right? So I'm looking around the room. What are some other things to extract wisdom from? Well, you've got the light bulbs up in the top of the ceiling. So why would you ever want to be a light bulb? Well, a light bulb lights up the dark. If you think of creativity, that's like the image of the light bulb above your head. And so it's an image for inspiration. It's an image for energy. When you light up the dark, you are making something possible that wasn't foreseeable. You're giving a vision of what already exists and you're just putting light on it. So a light bulb in the world is a visionary. A visionary, they take an idea or they take a concept that exists out in the world and they just bring other people's attention to it. That's what a light bulb does. It brings attention to something. If you're stumbling through the dark and you have a light bulb, it shows you what's in your immediate area, and then it allows you to find a light switch on a wall. And so if you think of like a flashlight versus like a light bulb, you're looking around the room and then you find the flashlight. So light in general directs your steps and it opens up possibility in the world. And when you start out with a flashlight as a visionary or as a light bulb, eventually you can light up an entire room and then light up an entire house. That's what a visionary is there someone who is in the dark, but then they find a flashlight and then they turn on the lights so that everyone can see in the room. And then they turn on the lights in the house so that people realize that what the position they thought they were in is much greater than they ever could have imagined. And that's what a company does. Like Elon Musk, prime example, buzzword example, but is what it is. First one that comes to mind. He's someone who saw a possibility and made it a reality and kind of brought attention to all these different companies that he's working on that people never thought were going to be, or just never even thought of these things as possibilities. If you mentioned like, yeah, we want to start an electric car company that's going to be the most valuable car company in the world, people would they'd laugh you out of the room. That's the best way to say it, right? So a light bulb is someone who's unchanged by people's opinions, and they light up the area around them with a vision so that people who are around them start to realize that there's much more potential than what they thought existed before. That's what a light bulb is. And there's probably some other things as well, but those are the first things that come to mind. A source of energy. They're a concentration of energy, of talent, of leadership, or whatever it is. They're a concentration of it. You have all these wires going through your house, but that energy is all on the light bulb and shining out from the light bulb. And, a light bulb, let's say there's a mirror on the wall. Well, a light bulb reflects off of the mirror. So that's our next concept. A light bulb will open up possibility for a mirror to also shed light, right? Anything that's reflective, the light bulb reflects off of it. So a light bulb is also someone who carries a bunch of influence. But a mirror is someone who's just copying your image, but it's not the exact same, They say that a mirror is, is a reverse image. That's one. So when you see photos of yourself versus when you see yourself in a mirror, it's very different. That's something I've had to come to terms with watching these YouTube videos of myself talking, because this is how people see me. And I see myself in a mirror, and it's a false perception of reality. So maybe that's what a mirror is. It's something that you think is one way, but it actually is not that way. It's a reflection, or it's man, that's a difficult one. I don't really know. It's like what could be, but isn't. You see what I mean? It's a deception. That's what a mirror is. Maybe a mirror in a friend, this is a good one, is like a yes man. Someone who's like just trying to court favor and is not actually a good friend. They're just trying to fit in, and they're going to say yes, whatever you have to say, just that they aren't the outlier. They're not looked at as like the weird guy, You don't want a mirror as a friend. You want a light bulb, or maybe that's a whole different concept of who you'd want as friends. It's a cool video, but let's keep moving. A pair of shoes, right? So why would you want to be a pair of shoes? First off, you wear them every single day. So if you are a pair of shoes, you allow other people the comfort and the ability to walk or run. You help them go further than they could have without you. If you're a pair of shoes, you get to see a lot of places because you get to go with someone, right? So maybe you're not the one doing the running, but you are a part of the running as a whole, right? I would think of like a cameraman. So, I'm about to go on, or not about to, but my goal down the road is to go to every country in the world, break the world record, fastest trip to every country. And I'm going to need a cameraman. So then a cameraman is a prime example of a pair of shoes. I can't run a marathon without a pair of shoes. There are people who can do it. Maybe I could do it once. I just don't want to, right? I could run a mile without shoes. I could run a marathon without shoes. I just don't want to. It's not ideal. I wouldn't be able to do it on a consistent basis. A pair of shoes allows me to run further, more comfortably, and longer, for like a longer amount of time. I can run more miles. I can run further distances for years instead of days, right? And a cameraman is a prime example of a pair of running shoes, because with a cameraman, I can film constantly and have the best shots and all these different things on a consistent basis all the time. As well, like once you buy a pair of running shoes, you want to use them. You don't want them to just sit there on your shelf. And maybe an employee or a cameraman is the exact same way. You don't want to have someone on payroll and not put them to work, So if I have a videographer, a cameraman on payroll, I got to put them to work. I got to find videos to record. I got to start doing X, Y, and Z, all these different types of channels. That way I can kind of like maximize the work that they're doing with me. And of course, pay them enough. But you need a pair of running shoes in your life. This is all like, these are just ideas that I'm coming up with on the spot. But hopefully this exercise of extraction is like a good exercise for you on coming up with book material. If you're a writer, an author, coming up with like a presentation metaphor or example, if you're a speaker, or just, if you're trying to pitch an idea, it helps you to come up with a visual on how to bring this idea to a group of investors or your, boss or whoever it is. That way it's more easily understood, right? Because visual pictures are so much easier to understand because we're visual animals, right? But that's all for today. Why not us?